FBI corrupted. That's our focus in tonight's preamble. Americans know that something isn't right with the federal establishment. Under socialist rule and a timid, weak GOP, our own government has been turned against us. It has grown beyond the consent of the governed. Instead of protecting our rights as articulated in the Constitution, the government is now committed to stealing the individual rights of every American. According to a Trafalgar poll, our government has earned Americans' distrust. Voters say the federal bureaucracy is too big and is focused on pushing a political agenda rather than serving all Americans. Some of the specifics of the poll reveal that 63% of Hispanic voters agree that agencies like the EPA, the CDC, and the IRS are too large and they only serve their own political interests. Meanwhile, 55% of independents and 90% of Republicans agree that the government has grown beyond the consent of the governed. In contrast, 73% of Democrats believe federal agencies are doing just fine, effectively serving the American people. Now, Democrats likely support the totalitarianism on display in the federal government because their side is using our tax dollars and the federal establishment to take out the Democrats' political opposition while simultaneously protecting Democrats when they're found to be breaking the law. Still, patriotic FBI agents have come forward to members of Congress to spill the details on how the FBI's leadership has illegally gone left-wing, telling Senator Chuck Grassley that the FBI downplayed negative information about Hunter Biden and other high-profile Democrats. Senator Ron Johnson, hearing from some of the same whistleblowers, has also pointed out how being a Democrat in America these days is a get-out-of-jail-free card and protection against being held liable under our laws. Meanwhile, the FBI has been in possession of the Hunter Biden laptop for 4 years, and according to published accounts, is looking for a way to let him off the hook. The activities contained on the laptop indicate the current U.S. government is compromised by foreign enemies like China. Hunter is implicated in a massive influence peddling operation, breaches of national security, and various violations of drug and firearms laws. The FBI is quiet on that. The treatment of the GOP by the corrupt FBI leadership is quite a different story. Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Rudy Giuliani, Peter Navarro, and countless others have been treated to pre-dawn raids, shackles, squads in full tack gear, even tip-offs to CNN so they can be there to show pictures of how dangerous it is to oppose the ruling class in America. And the ruling class is dangerous to law-abiding people, as they now have their new class of enforcers, the FBI. And that leads us to the unprecedented raid of President Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. For those of you educated by GovEd, unprecedented means that it's never happened before. And there's a good reason for that. This move threatens to permanently entrench division in our country. Only those who wish to pit American against American selectively enforce the law based on party affiliation, as the FBI appears to be doing. The FBI chose August 8th as the day of their raid. It's the day Richard Nixon resigned. The symbolism and intent by the FBI is hard to ignore. Reports indicate that the FBI was searching for official documents that President Trump was accused of taking from the White House after he left office. That is why a small army of agents came to Trump's home while he was away in New York and reportedly seized 15 boxes of items. According to reports in left-wing rags, President Trump is accused of inappropriately taking a cocktail napkin, a phone list, charts, slide decks, letters and memos, even a birthday dinner menu. Oh, the humanity. Contrast that with the conduct of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Under Barack Hussein Obama's regime, Hillary Clinton illegally conducted all of her official business on a homebrew server, trafficking in classified information, being hacked by at least 5 foreign powers, deleting 30,000 of her emails using BleachBit software. And the response from the corrupt FBI was, quote, no reasonable prosecutor would bring a case against Clinton for those emails. Hillary was the correct political party, after all. It seems the stench of James Comey, Andy McCabe, Peter Strzok, and Lisa Page, Bruce Orr and his wife, and others are still stinking up the halls of the DOJ and FBI. Senators Grassley and Johnson are joined in their concern over a compromised FBI by Senator Ted Cruz, my senator. The FBI raiding Donald Trump is unprecedented. It is corrupt and an abuse of power. What Nixon tried to do, Biden has now implemented. The Biden administration has fully weaponized the DOJ and FBI to target their political enemies. And with 87,000 new IRS agents, they're coming for you too, says Senator Cruz. Congress must demand answers. We need hearings, says Senator Cruz. We need subpoenas. Dems in charge will refuse, but the American people deserve to know why Biden is using the FBI as his political enforcers. Tin pot dictators do that, but that's not how America works, says Senator Cruz. President Trump also reacting, quote, "These are dark days for our nation. As my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of these United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls," says Trump, "and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections." President Trump went on to say, quote, "I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they are trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, political persecution, and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people," says President Trump. There are solutions to beat the corruption that has now infected the Washington bureaucracy and threatens the existence of our blessed nation. Americans can unite under the Constitution. As the poll I showed you at the beginning of the segment suggests, even 27% of Democrats find the actions of permanent Washington to be un-American and unacceptable. If we unite behind our common bonds in the Constitution, the infestation of self-interested crooks in D.C. will wither and die. Also, as stated, there are FBI agents who are trying to expose the political corruption in D.C., and they live in the various states. Now, I am no politician, or am I a lawyer? I don't even play one on TV. I'm not sure what I'm about to propose is even legal, but it appears our own government doesn't obey the law anyway. How can I be accused of any violations of law by those who don't obey the laws themselves? I propose that all responsible state governments declare the leadership of the FBI has gone rogue, and as a result, deny the Bureau the ability to operate in the various states. Further, I suggest those states open your law enforcement divisions to the good men and women of the FBI. Further, I implore those FBI agents who reject what the DOJ has just done, what the FBI has just done, targeting the Democrats' political opposition for select harassment and persecution. Those FBI agents who are real Americans and who reject the politicization of our Bureau, I ask you to resign and seek employment in the various states that place a premium on the equal application of law, regardless of political affiliation. Further, I suggest the states withhold the requisite funding from the federal government so that the states can pay those agents who will not surrender the justice system to left-wing politics.
J.P. Morgan's CEO is warning that an economic hurricane is coming. Are you preparing? If you don't do anything, your 401k could be a 201k, and that is not good. So call our trusted friends at Lear Capital. For 25 years, Lear has helped investors own gold to protect against market chaos. It's a good thing. They can help you too. Get your information and up to $15,000 in bonus IRA gold. Just call this number, 800-880-4300. That's 800-880-4300.